Now let's focus on learning objective C. We're going to use that unit circle that we derived, and we're going to find values of sine, cosine, and tangent in either degree or radian mode. The first thing they want us to do is to sketch 240 degrees. So I always start here, and as we sketch it, I'm even going to put the XY grid on here. And I'm going to say, remember, X was the cosine of the angle, Y is the sine. Now we need to move 240 degrees. So there's 90, 180, 240 might be about right here. I'm going to write 240 degrees. How many radians are at that point? Okay, well, we can figure that out. Remember, the shortcut for the radian, we could actually compute it, was pi is the same as 180. So you put 240 there. And then you would simplify this fraction. If you do that, what you're going to end up getting is 4 pi over 3. So 240 degrees is the same as 4 pi over 3. Now the question is, what are the cosine and the sine values at this point? Well, you can go back to the unit circle we derived and look and see what you put for 240. The ordered pair was negative 0.5 and negative 0.866. So what's the cosine value? The cosine value, remember, is the x. So cosine at this equals negative 0.5. The sine value is right there. It's negative 0.866. So you really do not need a calculator if someone asks you, what's the cosine of 240 or the sine of 240? If you know this approximate unit circle, you can quote it from there. So formally, let's define the unit circle again. It's a circle with a center at the origin and the radius of 1. Where now we know the x-axis no longer stands for x, it stands for the cosine of an angle. And the y-axis now stands for the sine. Such that the ordered pair xy now becomes cosine of theta and sine of theta. And all that this theta is, folks, is the angle movement that you do on the circle. So however much you move is the number that goes in for theta. So get out the approximate unit circle that you constructed in your notes in the activity, and let's do this. First question, evaluate what is the cosine of pi. Well, I start here and I move pi, and I see pi's right there. The cosine, it's right here. The answer is negative 1. You can confirm this in your calculator. Be very careful. When you type this in your calculator, your mode must be set to radian. If you type in cosine of pi, it'll kick back with negative 1. Okay, what's the sine of pi? Well, again, we moved pi movements, which got me right here. The sine, it's right there. The answer is 0. Now let's do some more practice. Here they want us to find the cosine of 120 degrees. Remember, cosine means they want the x value. Well, all we need to do is move 120 degrees. So on our unit circle here, we're going to go up and move 120 degrees, which lands us right there. Now they want the cosine, so if I look at that, the x value here is negative 1/2. Okay, let's move to the next one. Here they want the sine. Remember, sine means the y's. Now we move 225 degrees. So from here, if I move 225 degrees, I'm going to land right there. They want the sine, which is the y. It's that value. The answer, negative 0.707. Okay. Now they're switching modes. We're going to pi's this time. They want cosine for this problem, and that just means the x value again. Now, this is negative. Be really careful. Remember, negative mean goes backwards. So it would be negative 3 pi over 2. Now, if you're not sure how to look at that improper fraction, make it mixed. It would be negative 1 1/2 pi. So let's go backwards. Here's backwards 1 pi. Then 1/2 of a pi will land me right here. I want the cosine, and that's the x, so the answer here is 0. Now the last one, they want the sine, or we're talking the y values. We are in radian mode, so we look at pi's, and we're going backwards. So negative pi over 3 is improper. As a mixed fraction, that would be negative 1 2/3 of a pi. It's a little easier for me to see on a circle. because you're not going to see these values on the circle. You can't read these pi's right here because this is if you go counterclockwise. So let's do this one. We're going to go backwards 1 complete pi, and then 2/3 of a pi. Now if you're envisioning it, here's the 3 pieces on the top half. We have 1, 2, and 3. So I have to go, again, 1 full circle, and then 2/3 is actually going to land me right here. And then they want the sign value, so I want the y. The answer here is 0.866.